I do think there's some really interesting structural changes that are taking place in technology and media broadly, right? I was actually just talking with somebody else this morning about what's happening right now with GameStop.
Yes.
Have you been following this stock?
I have. I read some very interesting articles yesterday about
So,
this.
I mean, in the past 2 trading sessions, it's up, I don't know, 6, 7, 800%. And largely being driven by message boards on Reddit.
Yes, yeah.
And to me, this speaks to the fact that, the institutional media owners have lost control of the media.
Right.
And I think we saw a similar thing happen with the election questions here in the United States around the questions of election fraud. And, you've seen recently some coordinated efforts by the traditional media, gatekeepers to rein in, I think, some of the speculative, stuff online, right? But they haven't really, what do you do with something like people just expressing their opinions on message boards about a stock like GameStop, right? Like, I mean, maybe there are actually coordinated players on there that are trying to do a pump and dump, and they can, the SEC can step in and try to do something about it. But I think there are some big existential questions in play right now, very, even, more broadly, not just in the capital markets, but in general, having to do with the relationship between technology and media and regulators.
And my take on the GameStop thing was it's probably a mix of two factions. One is, as you say, some players trying to manipulate things behind the scenes, maybe a pump and dump scheme. The other, and seeing some of the messages on that subreddit group, was almost people having a bit of fun with the established market. They wanted to punish Wall Street, I think. They wanted to send this stock to the moon, I think was the expression being used on there, because they saw it as an opportunity to fight back against the conventional investment markets, the white collar, etc.
And I do think that there is some truth to that, right? There is, I think that the institutions have had a very productive relationship with the media and themselves. I remember Jim Cramer talking about this, a long time ago, about running a hedge fund and having your friends in the media, and, when you need to get a message out, you knew where to go. And so, I think in many ways, this is the chickens coming home to roost for the way that Wall Street has come to work these days.
Right.
And so, I don't completely sympathize with the institutional narrative that's saying, that, hey, boy, these are just a bunch of idiots over here on Reddit that are, crazy. And, that should be brought into check. I think that many ways, this is the reality that the owners of the networks, and the exchanges and the market makers and Robinhood have actually created. I think if you just follow the money, and you look at GameStop as a case study, I bet that the biggest, people who are making money are Robinhood, other retail brokers, and the market makers who, make money on a transaction basis, right?
Right.
So leave out the question of the little guys on Reddit, and the hedge funds that, are short GameStop, right? And think about the purveyors of picks and shovels, for the gold rush.
And I get the impression that the more we tell the likes of this subreddit group that what they're doing is wrong and it's against market fundamentals, the more they're going to push back anyway. The more they're going to try and send this stock to the moon and punish Wall Street effectively.
Yes, and I think it's psychologically, it's a very disorienting time for everyone, between the pandemic, the acceleration of technology, the polarization of politics. There's so much going on that has created so much uncertainty about, and that uncertainty really creates an environment where people are, grasping for certainty, even if it's false certainty, right? And so, that's an environment where us versus them can really take deep hold on people's psyches, right? So not only, can you be sticking it to the hedge funds and short sellers, but, you can be feeling like you are, part of a revolution, right?
Yes, yeah.
And, you're an insurgent. That's a very powerful emotion for people. And so not only are you making money, but you're getting to feel like you're, a guerrilla insurgent taking on the establishment. That's some heady stuff.
It is, yeah, and it's facilitated now by technology, by bringing different people together in these groups, and you do wonder where it all ends.